I wanted to give y'all a quick look at my playthrough of God of War Ragnarok. I also stream this game on Twitch and on TikTok as well, working on YouTube. But please come by and check me out on stream, experience it with me. So I definitely needed all of this recap to know what was going on. I was super confused this entire time, but going into the game, this helped out a little bit. So there are some YouTube videos as well that can help you with some of the backstory, but they do a decent job of letting you know who's who, why are they trying to kill you, all that good stuff. I definitely wanted the hardest experience possible going into this, and I wanted to have that old experience growing up as a kid, trying to figure out the puzzles and the combat systems. But I will also say that I did kind of chicken out when I read the description for God of War. I'm like, I don't know if I want to sweat that bad. My first RPG in a long time. I feel like No Mercy is that's good enough. That's good enough for me just to get started with the story. Chicken out a little bit, but it's still hard enough for me right now. It's good enough. One of the things I want to point out, I just loved the cinematic nature of the game. Even for this part, I didn't realize that I had to start steering myself for a while. But any game that feels like I'm playing a movie, like I'm watching a movie, but then there's parts in the movie where I can pick up something and I can start having an impact on things, I love it so much. The character designs in here are great. I love any kind of parts like this where I can have just an interaction during what looks like just a cinematic is awesome. Although it's not always necessary, having moments where you can kind of just jump into any kind of action to grab your attention, I feel like that's something I always really enjoy. And she was putting hands on us. I'm really glad that that we had a chance to get away, because I would have hated to have to fight her for my first fight of the game. Honestly, somebody in the comment section can try to explain a little bit more of what's going on here. I have no idea what I am experiencing here with Artreus and his dog in this light, and I'm assuming it's life force, spirit, something. I don't know. Something. Somebody in the comment section can explain that to me. I feel like it'll be important later. But I did enjoy some of the back and forths of the father and son relationship in this game. They started off pretty quick with the character development in that way. Trying to hold on to a little bit more of your humanity and emotions. Kratos still trying to train his son and getting his son prepared for whatever is going to be happening coming up soon with Ragnarok and the fight with the gods, or avoiding that fight. I really enjoyed that back and forth, and I feel as though they've been giving it a lot of time to breathe and time to build as the story of the game continues to go on, adding layers upon layers to each character. And then he doesn't come off as just a bah humbug brooding character. It seems like he has a lot of character development that he's had in past games that's still coming out here as well. It's always the woman that has the soft spot in the tall, brooding character's heart. Also, side note, is this the same character from Daredevil, from the Netflix TV show? It looks exactly like her. I don't know. I have not checked. I probably will check after I make this video. She looks exactly like Karen from Daredevil, Netflix, and from Daredevil Born Again. Very startling. You can't tell me that she doesn't look like Karen right here. She looks just like Karen Page. Some type of Norse god wizardry and hallucinations going on here. Side note, this scene immediately reminded me of the first X-Men movie when Wolverine stabbed Rogue in the stomach when he woke up from his nightmare. The exact vibes I was going for. I thought he was going to hack into somebody with that. I encountered my first actual combat engagement. I wasn't overly impressed with the look of these guys, but once again, my first RPG in years, I had a tough time. I'm not going to lie. Getting back into the combat mechanics. I'm very glass cannon-like right here. The opponent juggling was like a beautiful thing to input into the game, though. I love that aspect of the game. If you can pull off the correct combo and really get somebody up in the air, it's amazing. A problem that you will very quickly see in my gameplay is my inability to parry. I was absolutely struggling with executing any kind of parries in combat. If it wasn't just an outright block, I was getting chopped up. Something I'm also not a fan of is me having to constantly swing my camera around. I'm not sure if that is just something that is part of the difficulty of the game, and that I had to just get used to it, or what it might be, but I'm not really a big fan of that. For the rest of my playthrough, I'm strongly considering switching that to where it just auto locks, but that might not be the best if there are opponents behind me too. I'm not sure. We now encounter the first ability that I proceed to spam heavily through the entire campaign. I wish that the frost buildup was just a touch faster. I feel like in combat it gets me hurt quite often because I'm still trying to charge it up while people are just diving at me. But being able to do that, man, who wouldn't just constantly do that as much as they can? Now we proceed to get to a new enemy type, or a new combat element of throwing fire. Very much not a big fan of this. Not a big fan at all. We begin learning about my lack of parrying skills. And while I 100% understand the elements of my health not coming back, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. So my first death of many. I considered going into this that I would keep a death count. But I assure you that, as you're going to see very soon, that there's way too many of those for it to be a plausible thing for us to keep up with. After a few tries, finally get through this encounter. Little to no parrying still, but sometimes you have to just brute force things to make it work. Another encounter here. Here I'm just really just trying to only attack with a parry. Trying my best to just not brute force it. And the timing leaves a lot to be desired. And as we approach here, I get to my first boss fight. I'll 100% say, didn't expect this to be a fight. But for starters, before I start fighting any kind of Norse gods, I feel like a bear is a decent, warm-up. Still interesting to see that a god can still be bested by a wild animal, but hey, it is what it is. Not to bore you with all of the details from it and all the numerous deaths, but eventually, beating the bear, we find out that that was actually my son. A nice little twist I wasn't really expecting. But going from here and seeing him feel the remorse that he felt after going through and killing the wild huntsman in the forest and even harming the other bear, I like getting to know Atreus a little bit more. This is a pretty nice story getting to know him. I feel like they're not treating him as a background character. He's definitely a main character of the story so far, and I like that. Here, I very much enjoy any kind of combat systems that gives me a helper or a buddy to be able to fight enemies with. Whether or not he's shooting arrows, he's swinging his swords to help me fight people. I don't need them to do all the work, but it's definitely a very cool combat aspect to bring in. One of the best character intros in a game I've seen in a while. And that's all you need to know. And that's all you need to know. I definitely give this a 10 out of 10 so far. Character introductions, character developments. I'm liking it a lot. So after much talking and deliberation, Kratos gets an answer for his proposal on peace. And we proceed to get into a fight sequence that I did not expect to get into this early in the game. But so far, I'm not complaining. I'm really enjoying their depiction of Thor in this game. So far, a lot better than what I've gotten in MCU Thor lately. As you're going to see, I've really struggled with this fight against Thor. Did not expect him to be as fast as he was. Some of the attacks having as much range as they do. But once again, the bear was a decent warm-up. Took me a couple tries to get this down. But I'm definitely enjoying it so far. And here we have some of the stun system in the game. I really love the stun system in boss fights, really in just general combat as well. Also, seeing Thor's command over Mjolnir, or however you pronounce it, in this game has been very cool to watch.
Sorry about your statue, Tyr, you preachy old stick. If you're not fighting dirty, you're not fighting, right?
Another fight aspect that I really was not prepared for was my opponents dodging my attacks like this. I was not prepared for that at all. But being able to use the environment in fights, I do love that. But me charging up a full attack and then him just moving out the way, I don't know if that's part of the no mercy thing, if that's part of the God of War difficulty, but it's definitely something that was irking my nerves throughout this campaign. Did not expect to experience this sequence so early in the game right here. I've seen so many clips, so I was so prepared to witness this for myself when I finally played the game. I knew it was coming, but it was still just as awesome as it was in clips. That's one of those things. Sometimes spoilers aren't good, man. I can't imagine how I would have felt if I experienced that for the first time and I didn't know it was going to happen. Another fighting aspect I really did enjoy. Not my first time. I definitely tested it out on the bear. But going into the rage mode, or however they describe it in the game, this beautiful aspect of the game. I really enjoyed having this as like a super meter, an ultimate meter to build up in combat. Also, I love how a lot of the cinematic sequences, they just fit so perfectly into the combat that's already here. Another dodge that really pissed me off. But I'm already here, and it jumps right into the cinematic sequence right here.
I see why my sons fell to you. Even this lesser version of you. But I am not my sons. And your boy, Allfather, have plans for him.
Can't talk about the kids, man. Gotta leave the kids out of it.
There he is. There's the God of War. Consider your blood debt paid. He's seeing you.
And that was the beginning, knowing that this is going to be a longer game than usual, and that was a fight where my opponent was taking it kind of easy on me. So it's definitely going to take a lot of upgrades and a lot of practicing to beat him in whatever final fight that we have, because you know that there's one more fight coming. Lost a little bit of game footage in between that fight and getting back to Atreus, but back on the journey again, trying to fight whoever these guys are, and I have a new ability, new weapons. So far, really enjoying these blades, these chains. I'm pretty sure that this is what I grew up seeing in Game Informer on YouTube when talking about another death. When talking about the game and experiencing what the character was like, I always remember these two knives on the chains. But being able to actually play with them for the first time is pretty dope. I'm not 100% certain on why this lady wants to kill us and why she doesn't like us, but it's kind of happening. So it is what it is. We have to fight her. But that is one thing that I hope isn't a constant in the game of, I don't know who you are or what you want, or I don't know what I did to you, but you don't like me and I don't like you now, so we have to fight. Another great thing that I love about RPG role-playing games, story-based games like this, is the tier systems and upgrades that you can have, building your armor, your weapons, the upgrades of having one attack and taking it from level 1 to level 15 throughout the whole time of your gameplay. And then always they have the new game plus feature where you can go back and now use all of these things again. This is definitely a story that I enjoyed though. So while a lot of games I don't end up doing new game plus with all of my abilities, but this is probably going to be up there with a Spider-Man up there with a like a Mass Effect type of thing where I want to go back, I want to experience the whole campaign again, especially now that I have everything at my disposal. After a little bit of traveling, we meet these guys. I think they're elves. Overall, I kind of like these guys. They're pretty cool. Got me some upgrades and some assistance. Some pretty funny voice lines. They get my stamp of approval. I like it. Here I get to choose my new shield upgrade after my last one was destroyed. And you would think after my difficulties with some parrying here and there that I would go with the stone wall just to kind of guarantee my safety. But in here, I did want to give myself a little bit more of a challenge, especially since I didn't go full God of War. And I am the type of person that says if I'm bad at something, I'm going to just go full nosedive into it and I'm going to force myself to try to get better. So I ended up going with the Dauntless Shield. So now that we're fully ready to go, also wanted to show this scene, one of the funnier scenes in the game so far. I'm really enjoying the interactions between all the characters so far in the game.
Open! Open now! I was really hoping not to use the eyelid clamps.
Do it.
That's it! That's it! Good! Now, release!
Kill us, Blazin'.
That's our cue. Come on, hurry!
I'm coming. Frostful got eggs, man. What was that for?
You'll see soon enough. Just there. That should do it. See? No permanent damage.
Although I don't recall it.
And as we get to this stage in our journey of looking for Tyr, I encountered the most difficult fight that I've had so far in the game. More difficult than Thor, more difficult than the bear. Whatever these lizard things are. These salamander, these Komodo dragon looking things. It's an ungodly amount of time that it took for me to defeat these things. Experiencing this and the rage of dying to these, my newborns crying in my arms while I'm playing. It was one of the more difficult fights I've had in quite some time. Once again, struggling with the parrying, but once again, hey, I got the shield upgrade that I needed to practice and perfect this. So we're gonna get it done eventually. And I have never played a game where my opponents dodge all of my attacks. You would think that there was somebody else on the other side controlling them instead of just the AI. Let's give it another shot. Here we get a couple good parries in a row. Doing pretty decently here. Another one right there. Getting them kind of staggered a little bit. There you go. That's a God of War. There you go. A Petco would hate to see me coming. And okay, let's try it one more time. Let's try it one more time. So, actually, that one more time turned it into many, many, many more times. I did eventually get past this part of the game. I just lost the footage for it. But I'll be posting more videos, more commentaries as I'm walking through it. If you want to see it live, you can come by to see me stream the game live. And let me know, what are your thoughts? Which one is your favorite God of War game? What was your experience like playing God of War Ragnarok? Your favorite characters? And without spoiling anything, let me know some of the things that I can look forward to personally, whether or not it's the stories, characters, or just the gameplay aspect. I appreciate y'all for checking me out. Hope to see y'all soon. Bye.